My name is Rob Whiteau, and this is my YouTube channel. I've changed the name to Pigtown Report, and that's based on a paper that I put out in Northern Ontario. It was just a local effort. It was a satirical look at issues in the community. Some of it was opinion pieces as well, and some of it was news items, but it had a look at the community. And my intent with this channel here is to provide opinion pieces on issues that I think are important to not only this community but other communities in the area and to Alberta as a whole. And that, so I encourage people in the area, if you have something you want to discuss, to contact me and subscribe to this channel. It is a YouTube channel, so subscribe. Share some of these videos if you think they're worthwhile sharing, and like or unlike, that's totally up to you. And also post comments on some of the issues or opinions that I express here. So I want to talk about technology. That's the main focus here, is to discuss the impact of technology not only on our community but other communities in the area and on society as a whole. And that this past election, Athabasca University was a hot topic, and Athabasca University is an online university, and due to the beer flu, a lot of people that worked in the buildings were working from home. And that is a result of technology that allows for better internet connections, data rate transfers, and that's so people can video conference from home and still be able to do their jobs. And that, so I guess one of the things to look at is that kind of showcases the impact of technology on in the long term, is the fact that at one time there was a rail line that came here from the south to Athabasca, and along the rail line were grain elevators, and from what I was told, the grain elevators were located about 7 miles apart, and the reason for that was that farmers back in the day that were able to bring their crops to the grain elevators by horse and wagon didn't have more than 3.5 miles to travel. And that, but through time, some of the smaller grain elevators weren't as busy, so they shut down, and a few more grain elevators shut down, and then it got to the point where business for the rail line was not viable anymore, so it shut down. And as a result, we don't have any more grain elevators in the area. Again, the grain elevators have gotten bigger, and they're more centrally located, and because of technology, the use of trucks, we were able to transport grain further to the grain elevators. And that, so you look at, for example, Rochester. It at one time was a vibrant community. It had a dealership there, a car dealership, and it also had a farm equipment dealership there. But when you go to Rochester now, there's a general store and a few homes there. So it's gone from being a vibrant community to struggling. People there, that when they have to do their grocery shopping, have to either come to Athabasca or Westlock or go to St. Albert. And again, St. Albert from here is about an hour's drive. 50 years ago, that was a full day trip from even say Rochester to St. Albert and back, because the roads weren't as good, and that. But again, through improved technology, it's an easy half-day trip, there and back, kind of. That. So you take that, you bring the technology issue to the university here, where because of improved internet connections and data rates, the university can offers all their courses online. The professors can be anywhere in the world where they have a good internet connection and teach and provide lessons to their students as well. The office workers, because of the beer flu, they had to start working from home, and to this day they still continue working from their home. And so the need to have a physical presence in the buildings really isn't there anymore, other than to actually maintain the buildings. And that so one of the things that was mentioned is that we still need to have face-to-face meetings, and where we tend to want to socialize, and I agree, human beings are a very social animal, and we do need to have that intimate contact with one another. And but again, because of technology, that's and not only technology, but the recent mandate due to the beer flu, that's been kind of taken away from us. And and with that, I'll give I guess an analogy that I used when the internet and computers first came around to everybody in around the year 2000, about 20 years ago. We could make a file, save it on the computer, but at the time, the old school workers were still used to having a physical copy of paper in their hands and reading that. So we saved a copy on the computer, we printed out a copy. Today's generation of workers have grown up using computers at school and then now in the workforce, and they have no problems with reading a file on their phone or on the computer. And so the need for them to actually have a physical piece of paper in their hands isn't there like it was 20 years ago. And you bring that to today, where the Wokians will say, well, we still need to have face-to-face meetings and socialize and that. Well, I'm saying to the Wokians is that due to the beer flu, I think 20 years from now we're not going to see that, because if you look at like a young mother walking down the street, she's got her 3-year-old child in hand, and the child's got a face mask on, and the mother's got a face mask on, and they see their parents going like this instead of shaking hands or not giving a hug, and family events, Thanksgiving, for example, canceled because we don't want to have a super spreader event. Weddings being canceled. We can't go visit grandma and grandpa because we might give them the beer flu. Just things like that, where we're raising a young generation of children to be more antisocial and do everything from home on a computer using Zoom or whatever, FaceTime or whatever video conferencing app that you happen to use. And that, so and yes, their parents still insist on having a social interaction and that, but the young kids are learning and they're seeing what their parents are doing or not doing, and when they turn 20, they're probably going to be doing everything from home in the privacy of their home, so that they don't have to worry about potentially getting a disease or having that social contact, and we look at each other on a computer screen or phone, whatever application you happen to want to use at the time. So the face-to-face, yeah, like I said, yes, it is today, but 20 years from now, I fear that it's not going to be there. We're going to have a whole generation of antisocial individuals, and that's a lot, to do with, I guess, this beer flu thing, but also, again, technology. Technology is going to change how we live. I mean, it's changed from 20 years ago. It's changed to what we have today, and 20 years from now, it's going to be totally different. So, yeah, it'll be interesting times, but at the same time, I think it's going to be sad times, because right now we do have video conferencing and that, but the next evolution is AI, and that's going to change everything as well. So stay tuned. 20 years from now is going to look a lot different than it is today.